So let's just throw this straight to Temple, who is live now to us from that same studio at the NSE, where China's television broadcasts all the markets downtown Lagos. Temple, good morning. Getting here on the show.
Morning, boss.
Thank you. So that's the very interesting conversation between yourself and Olumide yesterday about everyone going green. That's one major initiative here, and that conversation. You think that shed more light on what the stock exchange is doing to ratchet up on this different asset class for investors?
Absolutely. One of the major ways that the exchanges are now trying to create liquidity for themselves. And of course, that's going to be happening through companies. We've seen the first of its kind. Access Bank now came in with its own corporate. And of course, going by what Bolumole said again yesterday, what it means is that some other companies may be floating gears to going forward. Because again, if you check out what the market is looking like right now, a lot of funds are withdrawing from the space. So if you're introducing such an initiative, green bonds, green financing, green projects across board, I mean, it's something that will help you create liquidity, and possibly even by the time you dilute such funds with what you have on ground, you have a better working capital to deal with.
Yes, Temple, so let's talk about yesterday's market, and we're starting with equities. The oil and gas stocks sidestepped the negative finishing for the other major sectors like banks, consumer goods, industrials, and all that, because it looks like investors are taking note of some news there coming through from some of those oil and gas companies. For example, Oando is selling off.
Exactly.
I just said it's just sold off 25% equity stake in Axela, bringing that money in, at least carrying off some there. It looks like investors are beginning to take Oando seriously because of the plans to deleverage his balance sheet and return to profitability in a manner that it can pay dividend, cash dividend, that is. They want to feel the money moving forward. So, and I saw the share price up 2.13% yesterday. That means that despite the negative sentiment broadly across the market, some investors still look at specific companies and try to price them depending on what they hear and what they know.
Correct, boss. And I guess in the case of Oando, a lot of investors are really running out of patience in terms of not getting dividends at all from this company for several years. Well, again, the storm is over in terms of all of those issues they've had with the regulators some 2-3 years ago. And so right now, this is time to start getting some benefits. So now that the company has now taken a very, very good decision by trying to settle its obligations around the medium-term loan that they had, and then, of course, the fact that they bought ConocoPhillips some years ago, and all of the issues that came with that, was also left hanging at a point in time. The fact that they're trying to basically settle their debt obligations now and move forward and try to now pay dividends to shareholders, no matter how little it is something really, really commendable. And of course, if we go by what we've seen from this key company going forward, the fact that they're also looking to raise some fresh capital in second half of the year, this news is really, really going to help the share price of this particular company to push things upward going forward. Before you know it, by Monday or thereabouts, this company could go on bid, and the share price will rise beyond 5 naira, crossing possibly 6 naira going forward, Bosun. This is for Forte Oil. I guess Forte Oil has actually hit its some kind of support level. At a point, it was an offer around 24 naira, and of course, it was good enough for some investors to quickly take advantage of it, because that can also push it back to 28, 30 naira, if not more than that. And that gives room for some other investors who had some fund on it to be able to take profits and exit.
Okay, Temple, go ahead. What's the rest of the market? Show us the numbers. I haven't seen the numbers.
So, correct. We were down yesterday. Yeah, we're down yesterday by some 0.39%. We got some 43.42 billion naira wiped out of the market, out of the equity capitalization. But when you compare that to what we had midweek, where we lost some 209 billion naira, I mean, this is really a bit of moderation. And so, of course, the month-to-date and year-to-date losses, which is expanded further but we saw a decline yesterday in terms of the volume of transactions that we had. The value of transaction was also experienced a bit of decline by about 50% yesterday. We had some 4,133 deals generally yesterday. But then if you look at the contributions to the volume of transaction by way of the volume shockers, now sterling back continues to play a very, very significant role. In the past few trading sessions, it's been the top traded security about 2 times. And of course, yesterday it gained some 2.82%, dealing with some 125 million units of its shares at a value of about 300 million naira. Now we had 19 losers as against just 11 gainers yesterday. Of the losers, we have chemical and allied products losing the most by some 9.89%, and of course, Forte Oil gained the most yesterday by some 9.82%. If we go by the sectoral analysis, only the oil and gas, as Bosun said, and we analyzed earlier, did some good gains yesterday. But for the banking segment, it was down. Unity Bank, Axis Bank, and Wema Bank pushed that down. Consumer goods segment of the market, all the Dangote companies in terms of the consumer goods side of things now experienced declines yesterday, coupled with what Unilever had by way of decline. Industrial goods segment of the market, Dangote Cement also fell further by some 0.53% and impacted negatively on the sector, which ended up closing at some 0.45%. Insurance segment yesterday had gains across a few names. Cornerstone Insurance made some gains, a couple of others, Cheat made some gains, but Mansard lost some 7.27%. And of course, a couple of other companies there, and that impacted negatively in that sector, 246 basis points of losses. Quickly running through the energy segment of the market, corn oil remained unchanged. Forte Oil we analyzed was positive, 11 PLC down 4.49%. You got MRS unchanged as well. Oando remains the toast of investors. Seplat was up yesterday, 3.13%. It looks like the share price, the gains that we're beginning to see in crude oil price is also impacting positively on this sector. Now, Total was unchanged yesterday after doing some 3,855 units. Etana PLC lost some 8.05% yesterday, some 10.31 million units of shares traded there. Looks like one particular investor has just made some good gains there. Global Spectrum, Japol PLC, Capital Oil and Rack Unity, all of that remained unchanged yesterday. For the unlisted securities side of the market, we got a bit of decline again yesterday, 0.68%. We're beginning to see a kind of zigzag pattern of trading in this particular market right now. USI yesterday was in at 731.33, of course in loss, but the market capitalization was also at 525.41 billion naira. We saw some 326.73 million units of shares there yesterday. For the fixed income markets, bonds specifically, things were really bearish yesterday. We got yields breaking the 14.50% resistance support level. It went on bid yesterday. Sell-offs was seen across the February 2028 security, and of course it traded at a high of some 14.65%. For the treasury bill space, there was not so much difference in spite of the OMO auction that the CBN carried out yesterday, where the market traded flat. Bosun.
Okay, Tempo, thank you so much. Let's take a break, everyone. We'll be right back with the Bankers Committee meeting report.